Welcome to this brand new episode of Wout of the World, and we are still on our big trip through the Caribbean. We started in Dominican Republic and we're going all the way to Suriname, island hopping. And the next stop is French and Dutch at the same time, two countries on one island, Sint Maarten.
Let's do a little recap. We're island hopping in the Caribbean, and you first saw us in every corner of the Dominican Republic. We experienced incredible nature and a bit of history too. Next up was characteristic Puerto Rico, with colorful streets and some natural hidden treasures. Now we fly from San Juan to Philipsburg to explore one of the most unique islands in the world. This is Sint Maarten.
Even though Sint Maarten is a pretty small island, there's not so much public transportation. So I recommend you to rent a car, because walking through these mountains is also not an option. And in 4 days you can see the entire island. We have this huge minivan, so let's do it. On Sint Maarten we stay over on the east side of the island in Oyster Bay, just between the French and the Dutch side, just on the Dutch side. The hotel's name is Princess Heights. We have a studio, and this is our kitchen when we do all the cooking and making coffee. This is the bathroom, and the room, guys, is particularly big. Not bad, right? And the most amazing feature here, of course, is the view, which is this one.
The view from our balcony and with the drone is absolutely breathtaking. Like I said, Sint Maarten isn't very big. It's only 8 kilometers in diameter. It's divided in a Dutch and a French part, which are named Sint Maarten and Sint Maarten. We drive through the colorful streets of Philipsburg and explore the Dutch side. We'll hit the capital later as we drive straight to some of the highlights first.
The best beaches on Sint Maarten can be found on the south coast near the airport. But a stop at Harold Jack's Viewpoint is also worth it, because it's amazing. Seriously guys, this view, you can see everything. Hey Jens! Wow!
On the one side we see Coal Bay, and on the other side is the incredible natural harbor of Philipsburg, called Great Bay. The bright green lake over there is the Great Salt Pond, surrounding Pond Island. Have you ever seen such a combination of colors?
The most famous beach on Sint Maarten is this beach called Maho Beach. It's just outside the airport and everybody here is waiting for the planes to land because it's almost touching the beach and then it lands here on the airport. Awesome!
This is really spectacular stuff. But if you come to this island to do some chillaxing, I'd recommend another beach.
Because just a little drive further is Mullet Bay Beach, which is my personal favorite beach of Sint Maarten, especially on the Dutch side. It's so lovely.
Now this is paradise. Mullet Bay is also known as the habitat and the nesting area of sea turtles. The nesting season is from April to November, but if you're lucky like me, you can snorkel with them all year round. The Dutch capital of Philipsburg feels like a small village. It has a population of only 2,000 and it's very rewarding to take a stroll through the nice shops and restaurants. This place makes us feel right at home in the Netherlands. Hey, I believe that's my bike.
So what are we making over here in 24 Kitchen of Wout of the World? We have some pumpkin with corn and chicken nuggets from the grill oven. While drinking a whiskey and coke. You gotta have standards while you travel, right?
Oh, it's no punishment to wake up here on Sint Maarten. I will show you the view to which I wake up every morning. Time to enjoy that fantastic pool with a view. The east side of Sint Maarten near Oyster Bay really is the perfect getaway. And we can also see one of the next islands on our trip. Over there is St. Bart. A very good morning with super weather here in Sint Maarten. Or should I say bonjour, because of course today we're going to the French side of Sint Maarten. Let's do it! This is the only place where the Netherlands and France share a border. And from there we literally drive to the highlight of Sint Maarten. The highest point on the island of Sint Maarten is on the French side and it's called Peak Paradis, the Paradise Peak. And we're gonna walk over there. You can almost get there by car, but the last 10 minutes or so you have to walk. We can see the two capitals. This is Marigot. And on the other side we see Philipsburg in the distance. But this walk will show us a lot more as we reach the top. So when you get to the top, there's this big antennas, you can walk around it. And on every side you see another part of Sint Maarten. But you can also see St. Barts, you can see Anguilla, and you can even see Saba and some of the Virgin Islands over there. It's really amazing, this view. On a clear day like this. In the back over there is St. Bart. And that steep hill over there is Saba. The flat island nearby is Anguilla, where we'll be going next. Way up on the north side, on the French part of Sint Maarten, you will find this beach called Anse-Marcel. You will have to drive a bit through the mountains, but over there, when you get there, the view is amazing and this beach is gorgeous. In 2017, Hurricane Irma caused a lot of damage to Sint Maarten, especially on the French side. However, the country has been recovering quickly, and this particular spot is truly heaven on earth. There is still so much adventure ahead of us. And we're still on a big trip through the Caribbean. I'm now on Sint Maarten, but we're taking the boat to Anguilla. There are several providers of day trips to Anguilla. Because of the good reviews, we chose one called Boomerang. We sailed through the rough sea between Sint Maarten and Anguilla for about an hour. Our first stop is a set of pristine bounty islands called Prickly Pear.
The country of Anguilla isn't only one island. There's a couple of islands you can take a boat ride to, and we stop at one called Prickly Pear. This is a beautiful nature island, and of course I brought my snorkel gear to see what's in the reefs over here. It's amazing.
And it's ideal for snorkeling too. The coral isn't the most colorful I've ever seen. But there's an abundance of fish over here. And if you're lucky, this is also a good place to hang around with, oh yes, sea turtles. So let's explore the island some more above water. Prickly Pear Cay is a small pair of uninhabited islands about 10 kilometers north of Anguilla. The western island is particularly rocky, while the eastern one has a perfect stretch of white sand beaches. We continue the trip for more adventure, crossing this crazy blue water. So this is the main island of Anguilla. It's a tiny country that falls under the British Overseas Territories. Only some 7,000 people live on the main island, and tourism is by far the biggest source of income. Which makes sense because these white beaches are considered to be among the best in the world. It's time for lunch here at Crocus Bay. We can never get enough of that Caribbean-style chicken. Oh, and corn from the barbecue. The highlight of our trip is yet to come. Mullet Bay offers some of the best snorkeling. And we can definitely confirm that. Peace out. Among others, we see this stingray. And some more green sea turtles. And here is something that I've never seen before. This curious creature is the remora fish. Before we head on to the next bay, it's time for a little cliff jump. And then it's on to Mullet Bay. Of the 33 beaches that Anguilla has, this is one of the main ones. Still, it's not so crowded compared to Sint Maarten, for instance. Oh, and it's drop-dead gorgeous.
So guys, that's it for today. We saw Anguilla and the nicest spots from Sint Maarten in one day. And I can really recommend this tour by Boomerang. You see all that you need to see and you have the best day in your life because these beaches, man, amazing. Truly. See you next time.
But before that, let me show you where we're going next. From Mullet Bay we head back to Sint Maarten for a little encore. And on the way we see the famous Princess Juliana Airport for a little show. Over here the big airplanes fly insanely close to the beaches. This here is Mullet Bay Beach. And while the planes keep flying over, we say goodbye to Sint Maarten. And from that nature paradise we make another awesome trip from Sint Maarten, this time to St. Bart.
Today we pay a visit to one of the most exclusive islands you can find in the whole Caribbean. From Sint Maarten we took a boat ride in 1 hour and we arrived in Saint Barthélemy, also named St. Bart. In the 50s this island wasn't even that special, until in the 60s a bunch of guys from Hollywood, millionaires with their boats, came over and thought, well, let's celebrate our holidays here and spend millions. And that's why this is the richest island you can find in the whole Caribbean. So for us backpackers, what can we do here? I'll show you. We can walk around, visit some beaches, see some views, and it's all free.
So from the French side of Sint Maarten, we took the luxurious ferry run by Voyager. It costs around $60 for a return trip and departs 3 times a day. In about 1 hour we sailed to Gustavia, the fortified capital of St. Bart. And the perfect weather makes the way over there very enjoyable already. From the boat we see the outlying islands, which are rocky and uninhabited.
If you make a little walk from the capital Gustavia to some hills around the city, you will see that there are some nice forts from where the view on the town is magnificent.
Here at Fort Carl we can see other sites too, and the drone shows the natural harbor of Gustavia. There are of course many options for renting a car, but because of St. Bart's small size, a little hike is also an option. St. Bart was named after the brother of Christopher Columbus, Barthélemy. Over the years the island was totally adapted for tourism. And this busy airport is a sight on its own.
After only a 20-minute walk, we arrive at the most popular beach of St. Bart, Saint-Jean. Let's swim, Jensie!
Apart from the white sand and crazy blue water, the private jets flying closely over the beach are the biggest attraction here. There is one every 10 minutes or so. But there is more. The most exquisite hotel on St. Bart is right in the middle of this beach. It's called Eden Rock and it's among the best hotels in the entire world. Prices start at $3,000 a night. Chilling on the beach of Eden Rock is totally free, so let's do that instead. When we walk back to Gustavia, we see the nearby beaches Colombier and Anse des Flamands too with the drone. Along the west coast, we walk back to Gustavia at the end of the day.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and you've seen that St. Bart's doesn't need to be so expensive. Go on a Sunday, all the stores are closed, so my wife didn't go any shopping. Yeah, I can really recommend the island, it's beautiful. And we're going on to the next one, St. Kitts and Nevis.
We're spending our last day on the poolside here in St. Maarten and then it's time to move on to the next island, which will be St. Kitts of the country St. Kitts and Nevis. Have you ever heard of that? I'm really looking forward to see what's happening over there. Go Jens! Tune in next time when we hop over to St. Kitts and Nevis for a totally different, authentic Caribbean vibe. And after that, we cross the entire Caribbean. Subscribe and hop on board with us. Ciao!